Hello, this is Richard Jacobs from Speakeasy Marketing. I want to talk to you today about referrals. This comes from a series of recent calls I've done with attorneys that have ended up specializing in some way or another in what they do, and they're looking for referrals. So my first course of action is always to tell them, do a newsletter to your past clients, because your past clients know you, they like you, and if you want them to remember you and refer you, you want to send them a newsletter at least once a month. But some attorneys want to go beyond that. So what I've found and what I've done in experimentation and actual implementation is there's more ways to get referrals. There are more people to get referrals from. Let me give you some for instances. Let's say you're a bankruptcy attorney. Well, you should have a list of divorce attorneys in your area, maybe a couple hundred of them, and you should send them a newsletter at least once a month. Why? Because divorce leads to bankruptcy, bankruptcy leads to divorce. So your two practice areas, if you're in one of those, can be fed by the other. So if you're doing bankruptcy, you have 200 divorce lawyers that hear from you every month, they're much more likely to refer their clients to you when they run into that problem. Or if you're a divorce lawyer and you have 200 bankruptcy lawyers on your list, okay? What if you do estate planning? Well, there's hospice. There are funeral homes, there are elder care facilities, Alzheimer's facilities, places like that you can build a list of and communicate to monthly and get business from. You could also have financial planners, because people want to do estate planning, you want them to have assets, so that's another good group. CPAs, tax guys, tax preparers, all that stuff. Those are all potential referral resources for you. So you want to communicate with those type of people. Let's say you're a criminal defense. Who do you communicate with? Well, you can communicate with DUI only type people. Let's say within criminal defense, you don't do sex crimes. You may want to refer those cases out. Or let's say you do sex crimes. A lot of attorneys don't within criminal defense. You can build a list of people that don't do sex crimes and tell them that you do. And you can get referrals that way. So even within your own practice area, let's say, again, you're divorced, right? What if you do much more mediations, versus the actual divorce litigation? You can talk to the mediators instead of the litigators. Or if you're a mediator, you can talk to the litigators more. Bankruptcy, let's say you deal with, individuals filing, or let's say you deal more with companies filing. You can talk to one or the other. Let's say your bankruptcy practice, for instance, is focused on foreclosure defense versus just filing, to get rid of discharged debts. Let's say you deal with FDCPA type of stuff, TCPA type of stuff, instead of just bankruptcy. So there's a lot of interplays you can get. Let's say you're a personal injury lawyer. Well, who can you get referrals from? Auto body shops, chiropractors, doctors, anyone in the medical space or the auto space, even insurance companies. There's possibilities that you can get some work from them if the other side has to have representation. So there's all kinds of referrals that you can get, and you want to hook into all these places. And if you do that, you got to communicate with these people on a regular basis, at least once a month. Christmas card is not enough. Quarterly is not enough. If you're going to have a relationship with somebody, they have to hear from you on a regular basis. Let me give you another example. So with Speakeasy, we were doing a weekly newsletter for a while. And, we get some people say, take us off your list and all that. Well, I've recently I'm working with a friend now that's helping me on the email side. And he says, you know what, let's go to 3 days a week. And I was like, that seems like a lot. He said, let's try it. Well, I tried it, and guess what? I'm getting more responses from my list, and I'm getting the same number of people that's saying, take me out. And we're sending a lot more. We have much better relationships, so it worked. If I was afraid, if I thought I was bothering people, I wouldn't have done it. And that's another tactic you can bring back to your newsletter. So if you're communicating quarterly, go to monthly. If you're communicating monthly, go to every 2 weeks. Now, for lawyers, you might not want to go beyond every 2 weeks. You might not. But monitor it. If you start to get more complaints, leave it at that level or scale it back. You're always going to get some complaints, though. No one can send anything without some people saying, take me off your list. You just got to be used to that. It happens, so don't let that dissuade you. But think about that. Think about upping the frequency a bit to communicate with your list. Maybe you go to every 3 weeks instead of every month. It's still a lot better if people hear from you more. If you think about the relationships you have with people in your life, let's say your children or your wife, if you spoke to them quarterly, would you have a relationship? No. If you spoke to them monthly, would you have a better relationship? Sure, a little bit better. Weekly, even better. Daily, a real good one. Or friends that you have or acquaintances. Your friend John Smith's also a lawyer from another state. How often do you talk to him? Quarterly, yearly, monthly? The more frequently you're in contact with people, the better the relationship. So keep that in mind when you want to get referrals, because that's really the key, is you want them to think of you and remember you instead of saying, I don't know, just go to Google. Google is your enemy in this case. You don't want people to go to Google, because once they do, 10,000 people are pulling at them. It's like going to a bazaar in Mexico and you have 100 vendors saying, buy this, $2, buy this. You don't want that environment. You want only you to be there in contact with the person. So I think I'm rambling now. Hope all this helps you. It's kind of a jumble of thoughts about referrals, but there's definitely some really good info here if you give it a close listen. If you want more work to build your referral base, to get more referrals, to identify potential referral partners, call us, Speakeasy Marketing. Call us at 888-225-8594. You can email me, rj@speakeasymarketinginc.com. Thank you.